सभी भक्तों को नए साल का हार्दिक नमस्कार। हैप्पी न्यू ईयर फॉर ऑल। এই নববর্ষ সবার জন্য মঙ্গলময় হোক। प्रवचन का विषय है उच्चाटन अथवा उच्चाटन। The subject of this discourse is उच्चाटन। आध्यात्मिक जगत में उच्चाटन का अर्थ है मन की चंचलता, मनेर उद्विग्नता, अस्थिरता, छटपटाहट। Uchatan means, in spiritual world, Uchatan means restlessness of mind. ये उच्चाटन दो प्रकार का होता है। एक है नकारात्मक उच्चाटन, टू टाइप्स ऑफ उच्चाटन। नकारात्मक उच्चाटन, निगेटिव रेस्टलेसनेस। और दूसरा है सकारात्मक उच्चाटन, पॉजिटिव रेस्टलेसनेस। जब मन का आकर्षण खंड वस्तुओं की ओर होता है तो मन के इस आकर्षण को कहते हैं काम। और जब मन का आकर्षण अखंड सत्ता की ओर होता है तो इसे कहते हैं प्रेम। When there is attraction of mind towards non-integral entities, towards crude entities, material objects, this attraction of mind is called काम in the language of Tantra. काम means physical longings. And when this attraction is for integral entities, integral entity, supreme entity, Parama Purusha, this is called प्रेम, लव। काम में जो मन की अवस्था है, दशा है, प्रवृत्ति है, काम में मन की प्रवृत्ति को कहते हैं आशक्ति, और प्रेम में मन की प्रवृत्ति, मन की दशा को कहते हैं भक्ति। द मेंटल टेंडेंसी और mental condition of the mind during calm, during physical longing, that is the mental tendency during attraction for non-integral entities is called in Sanskrit, in spiritual Sanskrit, Ashakti. And the mental tendency during prem, during love, that is attraction for Brahma Purusha. This mental tendency during love is called bhakti or devotion. मनुष्य जब आसक्ति का रास्ता पकड़ चलता है, अर्थात प्रेम मार्ग पर अग्रसर होता है, तो भौतिक वस्तुओं से, जागतिक वस्तुओं से जो प्रेरित होकर उसे विषय रस प्राप्त होता है और जागतिक वस्तुओं से प्राप्त विषय रस के कारण जो मनुष्य को सुख या शांति मिलती है वह क्षणिक होती है। वह दीर्घ नहीं होती है, क्षणिक होती है। When human beings adopt the path of ashakti, extroversial path, the path of material enjoyment, in that case the peace or pleasure that he gets, it is momentary, temporary. इस अवस्था में जब मनुष्य प्रेम मार्ग, बहिर्मुखी मार्ग, भौतिक वस्तुओं के पीछे भागना, इस अवस्था में जो मन की दशा होती है वो बहुत निम्न स्तर की होती है। अर्थात मन के निम्न स्तर प्रबल रहते हैं। जैसे क्षिप्त, क्षिप्त, मूढ़, विक्षिप्त इत्यादि, ये मन की निम्न अवस्थाएं हैं। मूढ़ उदाहरण के लिए मन की दशा ब्लाइंड अटैचमेंट, इन्फैचुएशन, जिसको मोह के कारण, तो इस प्रकार मन नीचे आ जाता है और उसकी निम्न अवस्थाएं प्रबल रहती हैं। So, when mind runs after the physical enjoyment, material enjoyment, due to asakti, due to the extroversial movement of mind, in that case, the pleasure or peace that one gets from the material enjoyment, material objects, crude objects, this pleasure or peace is momentary or temporary. In this state, the lower reaches of mind, the lower states of mind, such as Shipto, the mental condition due to anger, Moodha, the mental condition due to infatuation, Vikshipto, and like. So these are the lower reaches, lower states of mind. So in this, where man purely adopts the path of extroversial path. In Sanskrit, this is called Marga. So these lower reaches, lower states of mind, अग्रसर होता है, तो उसके जीवन में, साधक के जीवन में, मनुष्य के जीवन में प्रत्याहार योग शुरू हो जाता है। एक के बाद एक प्रत्याहार योग की अवस्थाएं, जतोमान, व्यतिरेक, एकेंद्रिय, वशीकार, ये उसके जीवन में घटित होने लगती हैं। I said that when one relinquishes, leaves, gives up the path of Ashakti, the prayer marg, prayer, and adopts or starts running on the path of spirituality, on the path of sadhana, spiritual practice. This is called Shreya Marg in Sanskrit, in scriptures. So when he runs on Shreya Marg, the introversial path towards cosmic consciousness, then in his life, in his or her life, there starts Pratyahar Yoga, the yoga of withdrawal. Pratyahar means conscious endeavor to withdraw the mind from the mundane attractions. This is Pratyahar. Pratyahar means the conscious effort, the conscious endeavor to withdraw the mind from the mundane, from the crude material attractions. This is pratyahar. So, the mind starts running on pratyahar yoga, and the different stages of pratyahar yoga, such as they start coming one by one. Say pratyahar, this jataman. The first stage is jataman. Jataman means the conscious effort to overcome the negative influence of propensities. So here, in this stage, there is diligence. One has to effort, one has to exert lot of efforts to overcome the negative influence of vrittis, propensities, enemies, mental enemies, and fetters. When sadhak crosses this stage, the other stage come vyatirek. In vyatirek, some of the propensities are controlled at one time, but remain uncontrolled at other time. One example, in Jatoman, I want to say Jatoman stage. Example. For example, a Margi is in government service, and you know, in India, this bribing is very common. So one non-Margi colleague of this Margi employee takes bribes from the people. So this Margi employee thinks, had I not been Margi, I could have also taken bribes so much and I would have become rich. But since he has become Margi, so his conscience bites not to take the bribe. But the greed of taking bribe is there, the propensity is not controlled. But he is making conscious effort to control this by following yama and niyama, guru's instructions, so many things. So this is Jatoman. In Vyatirek, I said that some propensities are controlled at one time and remain uncontrolled on the others at other time. Suppose a person has control over physical desire, for example, control over the greed for money. One possesses this. One has control over the greed of money. But he has other propensities like name, fame. He wants name and fame. So this is Vyatirek. if one happens to deliver a very nice speech, eloquent speech, and says to others that this is all Lord's grace, that I could deliver such eloquent speech, the credit goes to Paramapurusha, Brahma. But internally he is thinking, oh, how nice, how eloquent speech I delivered. Internally he is thinking like this. So all these things come under Vyatirek. Then comes Ekendriya. This is the third stage of Pratyahar Yoga. In Ekendriya, our indriyas, organs are controlled, but not permanently. Not permanently. Due to sanskaras, the ripus, Shadripu, six enemies, and pashas, fetters, you know all, they remain uncontrolled. So here, the indriyas or organs are not permanently controlled. Only when the indriyas or senses, the mind comes under complete control. This is called Vashikar. So, due to Gyan, Karma, Bhakti, knowledge, the path of knowledge, action and devotion, when a sadhaka moves on this path, this Pratyahar Yoga comes into being. So the previously, what I said, where the peace of mind is momentary, that was negative उच्चाटन. वो निगेटिव नकारात्मक उच्चाटन था. अभी जो हम बात कर रहे हैं ये है सकारात्मक उच्चाटन. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द पॉजिटिव रेस्टलेसनेस. Mind cannot remain, mind always remains restless. So, I am talking about the positive restlessness of Pratyahar Yoga by adopting this path. So, you know, in sadhaka's life, one gets mantra, Siddha mantra from an Ácárya. Mantra has so many qualities. Any word cannot be mantra. So when a sadhaka, according to the systems, recites, do jap kriya of the mantra, the sleeping divinity in the form of wild serpentine residing in our Mooladhara chakra, the lowest plexus, gets vibrated. And with the constant practice, spiritual practice, this coiled serpentine, this coiled divine serpentine starts rising in our Brahmani. So, when this Kundalini, the sleeping divinity, crosses our Swadhisthana chakra, so the sadhaka gets a very particular pleasure, and this is called Salokya Samadhi. The sadhaka feels that where I am, my Supreme Father, my Lord is with me. I am not alone. My Supreme Father, my Supreme Progenitor is with me. I am not alone. So this kind of feeling gives a pleasure. This is Salokya state. And when, with the constant practice of sadhana, when this Kundalini crosses the Manipur chakra at navel point, the sadhaka experiences another pleasure. The sadhaka feels proximity with the Lord. In the first stage, it was that I and my Lord are in the same world. I am not alone, He is with me. But here, the gap reduces and sadhak feels proximity with the Lord. Proximity means nearness, closeness. And this gives a special, gives the pleasure that this feeling gives is called Samipya Samadhi. Now, with devotional sadhana, when sadhaka continues with the devotional sadhana, the vibrative Kundalini, when it crosses the Anahati chakra, the solar plexus, at that state, the sadhaka feels or experiences of pleasure, and that pleasure is called Salokya Samipya Sarupya, Sayujya. Sayujya means close contact with the Lord. Close contact means that sadhaka feels the tactual experience, स्पर्श. परमात्मा मुझे स्पर्श कर रहे हैं. Lord is touching me. A touch experience, tactual experience is there. So this state, this pleasure in Tantra is called Sayujya Samadhi. Samadhi means the state of Anandam, bliss. And further, when the Kundalini, the vibrating Kundalini crosses Vishuddha chakra, that is our throat point, at the throat. Sadhaka, spiritual aspirant, experiences more pleasure with the Lord. What? This pleasure comes from that the sadhaka feels that I am one with him. I am one with my Supreme Lord, Supreme Father, Supreme Progenitor, Supreme Cognition. I am one with him. So here is the feeling of oneness. So due to this feeling, experience of oneness with the Lord, the sadhaka drives the pleasure which is called Sarupya Samadhi in Tantra Shastra. So this is Sarupya Samadhi. And then when, due to the constant and devotional spiritual practice, when this Kundalini crosses the Ácárya chakra between two eyebrows, the point where pituitary glands remains active, at that point when it crosses it, this sadhaka feels, experiences, I am he. I am supreme entity. I am supreme entity. So here, I and he. In the previous stage was I am and he is, I exist, he exists. But in this state, this gap, this connecting gap, link, I am, this disappears, and I and he become one. So due to this feeling, the sadhaka experiences the pleasure. This is called Sarishti Bhav in Sanskrit, in Tantra. Sarishti Bhav. And finally, when this Shakti, Kundalini, divine force, crosses or comes in the pineal gland, the crown, the highest point, which is called Sahasrara Chakra. There, the sadhaka feels there is no sadhaka feels. This is the state where he, or I. So this state is called in Tantra Kaivalya stage, Kaivalya Samadhi, or in Yoga it is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where there is reign, there is kingdom of only Supreme Lord, Supreme Entity, Supreme. He, you, like this. So, so when sadhaka rises, marches ahead towards this, his restlessness goes on increasing. But this restlessness is positive. Because here, the bliss, the spiritual bliss, the pleasure goes on increasing and increasing. Anandam. Baba once showed in one demonstration, Baba gave demonstration of different stages, and when the Kundali went to Shasrar, the sadhaka flat. Baba said, he is enjoying Brahmanand. So this is the highest stage. This is called non-attributional consciousness. So for all these things, we should always remember his special favor, whose Guru's special favor is required, grace is required, the divine help is required. So this is all. Now, तो ये जो प्रेम मार्ग था, जो मनुष्य विषय रस स्थूल वस्तुओं से, खंड वस्तुओं से जो सुख प्राप्त करता है, इस सुख को और अधिक 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 प्राप्त करने के लिए मनुष्य ने नए नए खोज की. In order to enjoy more and more pleasure from the crude objects, from the non-integral entities, human beings evolved and developed newer and newer styles of life, such as music, dance, the folk dance. Lord Sadashiv converted the folk dance and folk songs into the new style and tune and rhythm. New rhythm with rhythm, tune and style of dance, song. So human beings evolved this. On intellectual plane, human beings evolved science and technology, poetry, literature, archaeology, and so many things human beings evolved. Why? What for? To enjoy more and more pleasure. So when human beings get pleasure from the crude objects, this comes within a science. It is called aesthetic science. It is called aesthetic science. And in spiritual word, devotional word, it is called Nandana Vigyan. तो मनुष्य इस नंदन जगत, from the world of aesthetic, from this aesthetic world, तो इस नंदन जगत से जो नंदन रस, एस्थेटिक टेस्ट प्राप्त करता गया. Human beings derived the aesthetic taste from the aesthetic world. But ultimately, when human intellect thought that these crude objects, non-integral entities, are perishable, not of permanent nature. Hence, they cannot give permanent pleasure. or infinite pleasure. Infinite pleasure means Anandam. They cannot give. Then human being jumped, transcended the path of aesthetic science and entered into the supra-aesthetic world. And there, in supra-aesthetic world, human beings enjoyed supra-aesthetic taste. In the supra-aesthetic world, there is kingdom of Lord, supreme consciousness. This is that Anandaghan, Rasghan Satta, supreme, blissful entity is there. So from that, human beings started enjoying this. So, when the mind starts enjoying the supra-aesthetic taste, जब साधक का मन अतिनंदन रस प्राप्त करना शुरू करता है, तो क्या होता है? उसकी मन की चंचलता, उद्विग्नता इतनी बढ़ जाती है कि वो ऐसे छटपटाता है जैसे मछली को पानी से बाहर निकालते हैं। मछली को पानी से बाहर निकालते मछली कैसे छटपटाती है? वो उससे वियोग सहन नहीं कर सकता है। वियोग, विच्छेद, परम पुरुष से विच्छेद सहन नहीं कर पाता। So in supra-aesthetic taste, the restlessness of mind, UCÁTANA, is so great that the sadhaka cannot remain separate from the supreme entity, from all blissful, all compassionate supreme entity, Brahma, Purusha, Supreme Father, cannot bear separation for a moment even. Here, the restlessness of mind is so great. We give example as a fish writhing out of water, writhing to go again into water. So much restlessness. So यह जो उच्चाटन है, यही है पॉजिटिव और सकारात्मक उच्चाटन. दिस इज पॉजिटिव रेस्टलेसनेस. तो अभी इसके बाद मैं कुछ और बोलूँगा. आई विल से समथिंग मोर. फर्स्ट यू लिसन वन प्रभात संगीत विच बाबा गेव अबाउट दिस, द रेस्टलेसनेस फॉर लॉर्ड, उच्चाटन.
শুধু তার পানে যেতে চায়। উচাটন মন না মানে বারণ, শুধু তার পানে যেতে চায়। উচাটন মন না মানে বারণ, শুধু তার পানে যেতে চায়। কেন চায় ওগো কেন চায়, কেন চায়, কেন চায়, কেন চায়, কেন চায়, কেন কেন চায় ওগো কেন চায়। উচাটন মন না মানে বারণ, শুধু তার পানে যেতে চায়। ধরণীর ধুলি বনের কাকলি, ধরণীর ধুলি বনের কাকলি, ধরণীর ধুলি বনের কাকলি, ফেলে আশ্বাসে মধুদিন গুলি, ফেলে আশ্বাসে মধুদিন গুলি। মনের মাধুরী সবাইকে নিয়ে, মনের মাধুরী সবাইকে নিয়ে, তারি মাঝে মোর ছায়। কেন চায় ওগো কেন চায়, কেন চায়, কেন চায়, কেন চায়, কেন চায়, কেন কেন চায় ওগো কেন চায়। উচাটন মন না মানে বারণ, শুধু তার পানে যেতে চায়। যত ছিল কথা, যত ছিল মা, যত 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 ছিল মালন, যত যত ছিল মান, যত ছিল কথা, যত ছিল মান, না বলা ব্যথা, যত অভিমান, না বলা ব্যথা, যত অভিমান। সবাই আজিকে মিলিয়া মিশিয়া, সবাই আজিকে মিলিয়া মিশিয়া, তারি পানে কেন ছুটে যায়। কেন চায় ওগো কেন চায়, 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 কেন কেন চায়, কেন চায় ওগো উচাটন মন না মানে বারণ শুধু তার পানে যেতে চায় কেন চায় ও গো কেন চায় কেন চায় ও গো কেন চায় উচাটন মন না মানে বারণ শুধু তার পানে যেতে চায় শুধু তার পানে যেতে চায় শুধু তার পানে যেতে চায়।
मीराबाई आप जानते हैं गाती थी, नाचती रहती थी। कोई कुछ कह रहा है, कोई कुछ कह रहा है। सास कह रही है पागल हो गई, ससुर कह रहा कुल नाशी हो गई। लेकिन मीरा किसी को भी कुछ नहीं सुनती थी। वो अपने आराध्य के, कृष्ण के आकर्षण में नाचती रहती थी। तो इस संगीत में कह रहे हैं उचाटन मन ना माने बारण शुधु तार पाने जेते चाय कैनो चाय ओगो कैनो चाय। उचाटन मन my restless mind pays no heed. My restless mind heeds nothing, no one. It only wants to rush towards him. It only wants to run, to rush towards the Lord. So the sadhak is saying that why it is so? Why it is so? Why it is so? So this attraction is attracting, is so great. The sadhaka of this stage pays no heed to anyone, what one is saying, denouncing, कोई निंदा कर रहा है, कोई कुछ कर रहा है, does not listen. So this is just the gist of this song. तो हमारा मनुष्य जीवन कितना वैल्यूएबल है, इस जीवन को वैल्यूएबल, इस मूल्यवान जीवन को व्यर्थ नहीं जाने देना चाहिए और हमको नकारात्मक उच्चाटन का रास्ता छोड़कर सकारात्मक उच्चाटन का रास्ता, मार्ग, पथ पकड़ना चाहिए। इसी में हमारे जीवन की सार्थकता है। तो बाबा कहते हैं भक्ति मार्ग, ये भक्ति मार्ग के द्वारा ही संभव है। ग्रेट स्कॉलर शंकराचार्य, who was the protagonist of Gyan Marg, of the path of knowledge, उसको भी कहना पड़ा, he had to say मोक्ष कारणम समग्रयाम भक्ति रेव गरीयसी, that out of all the means of moksha, salvation, the path of devotion is the best. तो ये जो हमारा भक्ति मार्ग है, इसको पकड़ करके हम सकारात्मक उच्चाटन की ओर बढ़ते रहें। तो क्या फिर हम ज्ञान और कर्म को छोड़ दें? नहीं, बिना ज्ञान और कर्म के, विदाउट एक्शन एंड नॉलेज, डिवोशन कैन नॉट कम। Baba gives one example that the elder brother catching hold the hand of his little sister, younger sister, is going. On the way, people are saying, and they are saying, perhaps this little girl is the little sister of this brother, of the elder brother. So this elder brother is Gyan, knowledge, path of knowledge. And that small sister is devotion. So devotion needs protection. So this protection comes from knowledge and action, karma, seva, service. And knowledge should be there. With the proper knowledge, one will know how to move. So all these things are there. So आज का विषय था उच्चाटन। हम लोगों को हमेशा इस सकारात्मक उच्चाटन की ओर प्रयत्नरत रहना चाहिए। हमेशा कभी भी हम लोगों को नकारात्मक उच्चाटन की तरफ भागने की कोशिश नहीं करनी चाहिए। तो यही था हमारा आज का विषय।